Hey guys, this is Algebra Day 2, Algebra Expression. Today we are going to talk about algebra with multiplication and division, and we are going to begin talking about substitution. So before we get into it, let's review really quick. And before we even review, I want to remind you what algebra is, because people keep asking me, what's the answer? So we're writing all these algebraic expressions, and I know that you want to solve them and find an answer, but in algebra, sometimes the expression is the answer. So the purpose of algebra is to generalize the principles that you learn in lower grades. And algebra enables us to represent quantities that we don't know. For example, if you have a basket and you have, these are little balls. You have some balls in the basket, right? But you don't know how many. You have X balls in the basket. Well, say you add one. Now how many balls do you have? Well, you don't really know because you don't know how many you began with. So you could say that you have X plus 1 balls in the basket. Okay. So the other day we talked about algebra with addition and subtraction. So let's review that really quick. Riley had 50 beads. He gave K beads to his friends. How many beads did he have left? Remember that we did a lot of modeling the other day. And this model would look like this. So Riley had 50 beads to start with. He gave away K beads. How many did he have left? Well, these were pretty easy to write, weren't they? The algebraic expression for this problem would be 50 minus K beads. And that's how many Riley had left. All right, how about the next one? Nate ran 3 miles on Saturday and X miles on Sunday. How many miles did he run all together? I just want to point out, too, just a keyword really quick as we're going through our word problems. Altogether sure looks like it's going to be an addition problem, doesn't it? And if we go back up here, how many beads did he have left? Kind of signals to me that's going to be a subtraction problem. When we're doing word problems, we want to look for those little keywords to help us to know what kind of operation we're going to use. All right, we're going to do this without modeling. So if Nate ran 3 miles on Saturday, and we know we're adding because we see that word altogether, and X miles on Sunday, how many miles did he run altogether? Well, there's my answer. It's 3 plus X miles. Okay, now we're going to start talking about multiplication. So if you look at our little model right here, we have some packet. We're going to call these packets. We have packets with apples in them. There are 4 apples in each packet. How many apples are there in n packets is what we want to find out. Well, if we have one packet and we wanted to find out how many apples were in that packet, we could say there were 4 times 1, which equals 4 apples. If we wanted to find out how many apples were in 2 packets, we would say 4 times 2, which would equal 8 apples. What if we didn't know how many packets of apples we had, and we wanted to represent the number of packets, with the variable n? We could say that there are 4 times n apples, and that would give us an expression for the total number of apples in n packet. Now I'm going to show you something that's going to be really exciting. So, well, it's exciting for me because I'm a math teacher, but whatever. So in algebra, we have some shorthand ways of writing things. Instead of writing 4 times n in parentheses with the apples, I can just write 4n. 4n is the same as writing 4 times n. Whoopsies. Let me erase that. And in fact, in algebra, we are going to just write 4n or 4x or 5x or whatever. And that's going to mean 4 times n. That's called an algebra convention. A convention is basically a way of doing things. In algebra, one of the ways we do things is we drop the multiplication sign and we just write the coefficient next to the variable, like I've done there. Now we're going to start talking about substitution and how we would write our problems if we're substituting in a number for a variable. So we already figured out that we have 4 n apples. If we want to figure out how many total apples we have with n number of packets. Now what if n equals 8? Then how many apples are there? Well, if you're given this problem, you're going to show your work like this. First, you're going to write the problem, 4 times n, or 4n, means the same thing. Then you're going to substitute in the number for n. In this case, it's 8, so we would write 4 times 8, which equals 32 apples. This is called substitution. Now, what if n equals 11? Then what are we going to do? How many apples are there altogether? Let's rewrite our problem, 4n. Then we're going to substitute in the number that I'm given for the variable. So 4 times n. Then we're going to solve. It equals 44 apples. We always want to answer with a label. All right, let's do this in another problem. So there are 3 boxes of chicken wings. Each box contains p wings. Express the total number of chicken wings in terms of p. Here are our 3 boxes of chicken wings, and there are p chicken wings in each. And we want to know a total. How are we going to write that algebraically? Well, we can write that 3 times p, but we're going to use our algebraic conventions and we're just going to write 3p. So we're not going to separate the number or the coefficient and the variable with a multiplication sign. In fact, we're going to start marking a half a point off for that. Instead, we're going to write just the coefficient right next to the variable. So 3p means 3 times p. Right now I want you to turn to your blue grading page that you picked up on the black shelves. Actually, at home you probably got this with your buddy materials, but if not, you can write it on a separate piece of paper and transfer it when you get a chance. So this is what we're going to write. 3 times p with the multiplication symbol is going to be half off. Instead, we want to write 3p, so just the coefficient right next to the variable. Another algebraic convention is that we always write the coefficient before the variable. So instead of writing p and then a 3, we're going to write 3p. Now, let's substitute. So remember that we had 3p total chicken wings, right? And we want to find out now how many chicken wings are there altogether. Well, we're told in this problem that each box contains 7 chicken wings. And now how many chicken wings are there altogether? So remember we want to write our problem, 3p, then we want to substitute 3 times 7, and then we want to solve. It equals 21 chicken wings. Now, I bet you're wondering why I have a dot there instead of a multiplication sign. That is another algebraic convention. Instead of writing the multiplication sign, we're going to write a dot in algebra, and that means the same thing. In fact, we're going to add this to your blue grading sheet in a couple minutes. It's also on that red grading sheet that I gave you. Let's do another problem. All right, a rectangular tile measures k centimeters by 8 centimeters. Express the area in terms of k. So we have a width of k and we have a length of 8. Let's write our area formula first. Our area equals length times width. Oh, here's that symbol again. It's not an x, it's a dot. Then let's substitute in our values. Area equals 8 times k. And now we're going to write our answer with a label. Area equals 8k centimeters squared. Remember that if we're working with area, we need to have a squared measurement. because that is an area label. If we just had centimeters, that would only equal length or width. Notice also that when I have my answer, I write it like A equals. That's very important, and we're going to do that for all of 6th grade. Actually, you're going to do that for the rest of your life. That's not a 6th grade thing, but you're just being introduced to it right now. Okay, let's do a couple toyos. Go ahead and pause the video, try these toyos, and then come back and see if you got them right. Alright, so we have notebooks that cost $3 each, and we want to know how much do 6 notebooks cost. So these are $3 each, and we want to know the total. So we would obviously find that by multiplying 6 times 3. We should have a little dollar sign right there, which would equal $18. Now what if notebooks cost N dollars each? Oh, we have 4 this time. I need to draw my model a little bit differently. All right. So we want to know the total. How are we going to write that? Well, we're going to write it very similarly to what we just wrote up here. We're just going to change the number for a variable. So how much do 4 notebooks cost? They cost N times 4, which of course is going to be written as 4N plus the label, which is dollars. So we're going to write it like that. All right, I'm going to stop the video here and continue it on another video called Algebra Day 2.5. In the next video, we're going to talk about algebra and division.